Hello everyone, how are you? Dr. Pejman here. I'm going to speak to you about some of the recent challenges that I have been going through. If you are Iranian or happen to follow my Iranian channel on Instagram, you may already know what I am referring to. Around a few months ago, I became aware of a letter that one of my colleagues, John Fredrickson, he is a renowned ISTDP practitioner and has written some of the most important books on ISTDP. He published a letter in which he criticized an Iranian psychotherapist by the name of Amir Maneshi in Iran, who is an owner of a company by the name of Vofur, and he has been operating as a supposed ISTDP therapist in Iran. In the letter, I was so shocked and so surprised to see how John Fredrickson has essentially scolded the guy, Amir, for his cult-like behavior and for the ways in which he had done some real odd and weird kind of behavior under the disguise of psychotherapy. So I, naturally being an ISTDP practitioner, I've been involved in this model for the last 15 years. I've been very interested in learning it and mastering it and teaching it, writing about it. I did my PhD on it. So it was naturally an interesting topic for me that one of the world's most renowned ISTDP therapists has written a letter to an Iranian therapist. If you don't know, I'm also from Iran. So I needed to figure out what's the story all about. So I published a short video and made a reference to this issue. And man, I cannot believe what happened next. I received a few hundred messages from different individuals detailing for me, some of them with videos, some of them with audio, some of them with the text of the interactions with Amir Maneshi and his company Vofur, and detailing the emotional abuse and traumas that they have experienced at the hand of this man in Iran. So what turns out to be is that this guy has been a large group awareness training person. These are LGATs, or groups like LifeSpring, and these days it's called Landmark, and groups similar to this, where in large group number of people, they create a highly intense emotional experience for the individuals, and they use certain marketing strategies to pressurize people, to invite more people to their trainings. These type of self-development trainings are very different from what a legitimate evidence-based psychotherapy practice is meant to be like. But this guy, Amir Maneshi, had somehow branded his work as ISTDP, but he was in reality presenting these type of groups and trainings and using really unethical methods and very harmful practices towards others. So essentially, here's a guy who is not a good human being, for lack of a better word. He lies, he manipulates, he's very deceitful, and he has somehow managed to sell himself to everyone as a leading ISTDP therapist, and has created a market for himself in which he has lied to everyone about his credentials and about the type of practices that he's doing in Iran, which are all kind of made up practices, potentially very harmful, but he is branding them as some form of scientific practice under the disguise of ISTDP. So in reality, it's a mixture of this man just not being a good person and not having a good sense of morality and right and wrong, and also being highly uneducated for the type of practices that he's doing. He would bring up to 300, 400, 500 people in one group setting and do highly emotional work, putting massive pressure on everyone, and quite frequently scolding people, abusing them, swearing at them, using the worst language you could possibly imagine. And he would call all of this stuff psychotherapy, and stating that he's doing it out of love and out of care, and he's so dedicated to the people and to the culture, and he really wants to better everyone. At the same time, he has been charging people excessive amount of money. He has been using all the kind of strangest marketing strategies that has no place in a legitimate psychological practice. He has been exploiting vulnerable individuals and turning them against their own families, against their own friends, and constantly encouraging people to demonstrate their sense of social responsibility and love for their mankind by inviting more people to his trainings. The extent and volume of harm that this man has done to people's psychological health is beyond words. I cannot summarize it here. But what I can tell you is that if you do not have a good understanding of people's anxiety tolerance and threshold, and put individuals in mass group, in massive numbers, within a highly emotional environment without proper regulations, and do this type of games on others in which you stir up massive unprocessed emotions and then publicly shame them and attack them, it's really not surprising that many people, I will say, I am not exaggerating when I say many thousands of individuals have been badly traumatized and emotionally hurt, but under the disguise of psychotherapy. So these are vulnerable individuals seeking psychotherapy, seeking getting better, seeking self-awareness and insight, and then ending up with a man who has been masquerading as a therapist, while all this time he has been doing illegitimate and unscientific practices that have no place within the realm of psychotherapy. So naturally, as you could imagine, I had an ethical dilemma. I had the option of just keeping silent and not saying anything, which I considered that option would have been very unethical, or the second one was to speak up. And I've decided to speak up. I've decided to speak up on my Instagram, on my social media account. I do have a bit of following, so I've been speaking in Persian, in Farsi, and as you could imagine, this guy has sent a lot of his followers to threaten me, to attack me, to do threat of legal consequences, to contact my workplace and do threats there, to go on different websites and write falsehood about me, which all perfectly is fine. This is quite common within the cults and cult-like behavior. But given the extent of harm and trauma that I have become aware that this man has done to others, I found it a necessity for myself to speak up, to educate people on the differences between legitimate psychological intervention and cult-like behavior that unfortunately it appears to be quite common in Iran. So for those of you who have been a little bit surprised with what's happening on my social media accounts and what am I going on about and why am I calling out seemingly random people, this is the backstory. I thought I should let you know I might speak about this topic a bit more, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and I will speak to you soon in my upcoming videos. Thank you very much and take care.